Do you feel it? Do you feel that they're tightening the screws with the narratives? Do you feel that everything you turn on, every channel you watch, everything is talking about politics? That's the first question tonight. Or am I picking up on this a little bit because I'm a little bit ahead of this because I am listening to all these stupid radio shows? Maybe that's it. But let me know. That's the first question. Do you feel Clown World screaming in hot and heavy, hard and fast? Bite on this piece of wood. Take a sip of whiskey. Everything's going to be okay. It'll just be like we're going to amputate your leg in the old days. No problem. That's how I feel right now. Now, beyond that, I started thinking about the larger sense, as I always do, because I don't like, just kind of leaving things in the most, let's say, insipid consensus reality variety garden variety societies type stuff because look, no offense, I would do a cooking show or something, right? Like I would do something fun. That's what I would be doing. Okay, I would be doing something fun. This is sometimes this is fun, sometimes this is not fun because you got to sort of face those demons, face those fears, face society as a collective that would lie to us about every damn thing and then expect us to play along like nothing's wrong. Okay. And that's why sometimes this is less fun, but it's still more important than a cooking show. I guarantee you that. Now, here's the thing. Regarding this whole clown world, election season, the politics and all this stuff, okay? Clown world exists. It's been with us for a very long time now, and basically most of us were born into this, okay? And the thing that I'm sensing, that I'm noticing, is that not just in the era of social media and sort of stepping on the gas and the phony activists out there that are actually just probably one activist running 48 sock puppet accounts or whatever. I mean, the world is turned into a really, really crazy place. Unless, of course, you just turn all the crap off and go put your feet in the grass, right? Go touch, what do they say? Touch dirt, touch sand. I don't know. What do they call it? Whatever the hell they call it. Just stop listening to these people. Anyway, so back to this. Now, where do we start tonight is, of course, this article, which leads me into all of this madness. Okay, and we'll get to Clown World in a moment here. Here's the thing. This is from theatlantic.com. The headline is this: "The world is falling apart. Blame the flukes." And I'm into this because it's talking about chaos theory, and it's talking about sort of the things that we discuss on Troubled Minds quite often. The idea that one tiny little whatever it is set in motion can spin off into all these different, let's say, massive iterations on the other side of the world type of thing. And look, I see it as being good to each other. If we do this, and positive energy can also manifest, like they say, again, the most obvious and blatant example of, and overused, by the way, is that if a butterfly flaps its wings here in North America, 6 months from now, the chain reaction happens in the complex system and a tornado buzzes off in China or something, okay? Something to this effect. Now, same thing with me in terms of, I agree that that's probably the case here, but to me, it seems like, well, we should be using this stuff, again, with the human zeitgeist, with the ideas we share, with the attitudes we have, with the fact that we come with our best every single day, and it will rub off on the people around us, and they will rub off on the people around them. And as a result, we are slowly but surely building a different world, okay? A better world, just through our actions, okay? Very simply. Pound sand. What's up, Fred? The pound sand. Yeah, I don't think that's the term, but I like where you're headed with that. Okay. Anyway, so back to the chaos theory. Now, the wild part about this is the world is falling apart. Blame the flukes. Now, wouldn't you know it? I'm going to read just the first paragraph. Just the first paragraph. The 21st century has been defined by unexpected shocks, major upheavals that have upended the world as the world many of us have known and made our lives feel like the playthings of chaos. Every few years comes a black swan style event. September 11th, the financial crisis, the Arab Spring, Brexit, the election of Donald, not even going to say the word, you know the word, the coronavirus pandemic, wars in Ukraine and Gaza. Okay, well, some examples there. But funny enough, this is right down my alley, and I was putting together some articles last night. And again, sorry for missing the show. I was just drained. You know how, just a quick explanation on it, and I'll get back to this. You know how when you're so tired that even a good night's rest doesn't cure it, you just feel just drained. That's all I was. I'm not sick. I was not sick. I do my best to not get sick. But that's what it was. I was just tired. And I came home and I was just like, there's no chance I'm putting a show together right now. I just can't do this. And so that's why. So I know you all forgive me, but that's the explanation. I know I don't have to explain myself, but that's what happened. But anyway, part of that could be also this sort of this impending political doom that's over our head, right? That the zeitgeist, as they tell us, this is once again the most important election of your life. If you don't vote, you have no say in society. This is no longer your world if you don't vote for the candidate that matters most. Be right back. Commercial break. No, I'm just kidding. Right? But this is the type of crap we're hearing. This is the type of crap we're hearing. And it is bothering me. It's bothering me quite a bit because you know what? It's not my first trip around the block, as it is probably not yours. And it is one of those situations where it frustrates me endlessly because we know they're lying to us and we're expected to play along. Back to Clown World. Now, regarding Clown World, I was thinking about, okay, so we start here with this. The world is falling apart. Blame the flukes. Yeah. I mean, you know, chaos theory, the flukes, bad luck happens, terrible things come and go, and we're supposed to just deal with it in this crazy world, right? I mean, as part of it, as part of being humans, things come, things go, and the Stoic mind says the only thing you can control is yourself and how you respond to these things around you, okay? And very, very wise stuff. Back to the philosopher kings of old, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, the slave, etc., so on, okay? Now that's aside. That's a whole different thing. However, the weird and wild part of it is that we're in this space of, it feels like a dark cloud is kind of moving in, and not clearly literally, but sort of in the zeitgeist, like a dark cloud of the zeitgeist of this clown world. Okay. And me, of course, being the weirdo that I am, I was like, wait, now hold on one moment here. What the hell is happening? Because it feels like this election season is becoming something so ridiculous that we're all like suddenly online pugilists that pick up our stupid little, massive Q-tip and want to just sock each other over the head because it's election season. Somebody on Twitter just posted this just before we start. I'm not going to mention their name. I don't want to pick on them. But, somebody notable in the UFO community, let's say, just posted, look, I don't care. I'm going to post about the politics I want, and if you don't like it, I don't care. Like, it already like sort of the preemptive. Let's fight, bro. Well, like put up your dukes. We're gonna do this online pugilist business and just beat the hell out of each other because my ideology, right? Not a human ideology, my ideology, the ego madness. Okay, so here's the thing. I was thinking in terms of this sort of the flowing shadow aspect of the zeitgeist or of the egregore of humanity itself, or let's just say the United States in this, because of course I'm here in the United States, and I apologize to those of you that are not and you're somewhere else and you're like, what is this guy on about? Well, that's why, because I'm here in the States and this is the stuff that's happening. Every damn channel you turn on, everybody's like, politics. It's annoying. But I was thinking of this, okay? So not only do we have sort of this idea of the zeitgeist itself, which is election season, which becomes full-on ultimate clown world deluxe, okay, where it's literally the most upside-down thing ever, okay? But then it's sort of like this flowing in of this regurgitated, drawn out of the closet, shake the dust off, and bring the election season zeitgeist in, sort of like a shadow zeitgeist, like the shadow egregore of the political spectrum, of political clown world that we're supposed to believe in, and we're supposed to engage with these liars and thieves that would tell us they're going to fix things, all the while they're doing the exact opposite. They're breaking things, they're burgling from the treasury, and they're doing all the things that you would expect, liars and thieves to do, okay? So here's what I was thinking. Now let's get weird, of course. So, okay, first question tonight was this specifically. Do you feel it? Do you feel the change happening where clown world is rolling in and everywhere you turn is madness? Second question. Do you think it's possible that when the zeitgeist changes like this so fiercely and so dramatically because so much energy is poured into it, the underbelly of a zeitgeist becomes tangible, becomes visible, becomes something we can feel as the opposite of the upside down, the opposite of clown world. And that's where my mind's at tonight. We're going to take this in a weird way because, well, this is troubled minds after all. And it is election season, but it does give me indigestion, let's say. But indigestion of my mind is clogging my third eye or whatever. Something's mad about this. But anyway, a couple questions as we start. And then as we get into this, I noticed an interesting parallel. You guys ever heard the old, there's an old book by Ray Bradbury. It was turned into a movie in 1983 or 84 by Disney. And it goes by the title, Something Wicked This Way Comes. You guys ever heard of this? Now, just a brief synopsis, again, from it is from Ray Bradbury. I'll put it up here. Where's the things? I got all the links will be in the description, and I encourage you to read this stuff. There it is. All right. So Ray Bradbury wrote this in 1962. It's dark fantasy. And if you guys have seen the actual movie, this is one of those old ones that I saw when I was very young, and it was very good. It was creepy. It was scary. It was that, sort of that, as I'm describing, this shadow zeitgeist starts to roll into town when this carnival happens, this actual fair, carnival, this type of thing. Except it's not your standard everyday carnival. It's drenched in mystery. It's drenched in evil. It's drenched in all of these things, okay? Now, the wild part is that if you guys are familiar with the story, so Ray Bradbury wrote about these two, again, the protagonists of the story, and they're actually talking about, they're 14-year-old boys, and when this carnival rolls in, they notice it at late at night, and it is this dark mist that kind of flows through and becomes this carnival. It turns in overnight into this, again, sort of think the shadow Egregore, and just flows in, and this carnival manifests right before their very eyes. And they're like, what the hell is this? Like, what could this be? So they're curious as hell, and they go start experimenting, exploring, looking around, trying to find out like if they're dreaming or something's happening here with this whole, again, back to the novel, Something Wicked This Way Comes. I'll tell you the story as we go tonight because it's important to the narrative here. But wildly enough, it seems to echo for me election season. It seems to echo for me the idea that when this stuff rolls in, we're subjected to it. Except, of course, we're not helpless. And this is exactly the idea of this story. And if you guys are familiar with the book itself, or at least the plot, again, it's been a long time since I've seen this. It did strike me as being very good when I was young, very kind of scary, not what you would expect from a Disney flick. Again, Disney has changed since 1980, 84, 83. Can't remember when this movie came out. But the point is that it feels like this is exactly where we're at. Sort of this just shadow entity moves in by dark of night. And then we just get up the next day and go to work just like every day. Just like every day is fine, fine enough. We're doing our best just to survive. And my point is that instead of, let's say, everyday world, you wake up and you are in clown world. And every moron out there, and I say that in the nicest way, is now fighting about politics. And you're like, what happened? What is going on here? And of course, it's because we've been conditioned. We have been brainwashed. We have been turned into this society that accepts lies from thieves and liars as the next coming of choose Shangri-La, the next coming of you choose it. Try not to be blasphemous here. But come on now. Seriously? This is ridiculous to me, and it's grating on my last nerve already, and it's only the middle of January. So more questions tonight regarding this. What do you know about this novel, this novella, I believe it's called, Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury? And I'm going to fill in the blanks just a little bit here. So as the individuals, the two young 14-year-old young men at that point, teens, I don't know, what do you call them? What do you even call them anymore? The definitions change on a daily basis. These two young people, 14-year-old boys, they start exploring the weirdness of this carnival that just showed up in this dark cloud overnight. Well, it turns out that not only are they sort of stuck in this thing that it turns out to be a generational situation where these entities, this shadow circus, this clown world flows in and really kind of takes them in. But it's not there specifically for their amusement. It's actually there to drain their soul. It's actually there with shadow entities that come back and try and recruit people into this shadow circus. Very much like the archons or things like this, right? And I thought the two ideas came together when I was just thinking about this. And I was like, you know what this kind of feels like? It feels like that old something wicked this way comes. It's like, and so to start it out, they're noticing a storm coming in. Okay. And there's lightning and they're like, wow, that's a hell of a storm. And they see these dark clouds and they notice these dark clouds kind of flow into town and they turn into, again, like I said, sort of this carny with the lights and the whole bit. And they're like, what the hell? And then everybody wakes up the next morning and this carnival's set up and ready to go. But these young men saw this actual thing happen. And so they're turned into hardy boys and start exploring what the hell it is. And what do? They run into, as you would expect, the ringmasters of the circus itself, of Clown World itself. And I will tell you why. Because the ringmasters of Clown World are trying to not just manipulate them, but also to drain their energy and recruit them to Clown World forever. What do you know about this story? And I'll fill in how this goes as we continue, but there's an entity in this, and he's known as Mr. Dark, okay? Mr. Dark, as you would expect, because he is sort of the dark ringleader, the dark idea that just flowed into town. And now suddenly we all have to deal with it, except, of course, well, some of us have our faculties about us most times. Many of us do not. And that becomes part of the problem. And many entities get sort of recruited into this idea of the circus, this idea of the upside down, this idea of Clown World as it is, as it were, as it will become. And so, well, we'll get to how this ends. If you guys are familiar with the story, you already know, so I don't have to fill it in. But that's where my mind is at tonight. We're mixing some ideas, of course. Clown World election season. Are you feeling it? Second thing, is it possible there's a shadow egregore flowing in that gets shaken out of the closet every 4 years? And can we notice an underside to this? Meaning, well, we'll get to what that means. Third thing, is this not a perfect parallel to Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury from 1963? This egregore, this shadow egregore that flows in, is it possible to turn this upside down? This Clown World election year that's going to haunt us and plague us and try to change our minds and make us believe somehow that liars are anything but. That's what's on my mind tonight. Look, we don't have to talk politics directly. What about this whole zeitgeist bit? Do you feel it? Am I the only one? And if I'm not, look, if I'm the only one right now, that's good. I'm happy about that because I'm affected by something that may not be so important just yet. But I do feel like it's happening. And I do feel like I may not be the only one. And I do feel like no matter what, by maybe midsummer, spring-ish, it's going to be just on our neck constantly. And it's going to be nothing but lies, and propaganda. And I don't like it. And I know you don't like it either. And what do we do about it becomes a question. How do we adjust ourselves in this Clown World upside down that we call, well, that I'm calling election season?